Now to another i24News exclusive. i24News French channel defense correspondent Matthias Inbar just returned from a trip to South Sudan to investigate a story and expose a rare point of contention between the U.S. and Jerusalem over America's decision to sanction a highly decorated IDF general who is now involved heavily in agriculture projects in Africa. Matthias ended up sitting down with that country's defense minister and the president to talk more about the situation there. Tell us what you learned.
Actually, when I say we, Michael Pulcher, the cameraman, and I were in South Sudan to film actually the first agriculture project led and planned by Israel Ziv, the former IDF general. What we saw there is that this is remarkable to see how a huge country didn't think of creating some agriculture projects for the population. And you know, when you think of dealing with war, you don't think of food. And what is fantastic is to see how General Ziv and his team actually created from zero a project, an agriculture project, and which helps the population. But today, there are sanctions, and the U.S. Treasury is accusing General Ziv of having made a gun deal, more or less $150 million, which General Ziv has rejected the accusation, and the president that you're going to hear in a few seconds sent a letter to Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister, said, if General Ziv is guilty, so arrest him. If not, tell US not to stop sanctions and to let my agricultural project going on.
Yeah, this is a general accused of being an international arms dealer and faces sanctions, but he is in Africa now and doing agriculture work. And you kind of got to the bottom of it. Let's listen now to what the take on this situation from the South Sudanese president.
Can you please describe actually the peace process that was set in the end of last year with the vice president, and Riek Machar actually seems to has rejected the peace agreement, and yet it was under the collapse of our cartel government. So my question is simple: where are we now about the peace agreement?
Thank you very much. I don't think that Riek Machar has rejected the agreement. What he did was that the pre-transitional period was over, but most of the things that were supposed to have been done have not yet been achieved. And so he asked for 6 more months. And 6 months starting from May will end by November. Up to that time, he will be now seen by the world whether he will put another condition or he will just accept the reality of the situation, and then he comes in and we form the government.
Why do you think U.S. has sanctioned Mr. Ziv's program?
I don't know, but it might have been on assumptions that this is just not only agricultural farms, but maybe that, Israel being, one of the countries that has been having good relations with South Sudan for a very long time, might have been seen as if they were involved in our war.
So you do confirm it's not true?
It is not true. Even Ziv never brought one bullet from Israel.
If it was correct, you would have known that?
Why not? I'm the president. I would have known everything. So that was just a victim of circumstances.
You know, the UN Security Council report specified that during the past years there was no arm deals, actually, and weapon transactions. Do you think it is a result of United States policy or your own internal policy?
No, I don't want to talk about any arms embargo because when the UN Security Council passes orders, it doesn't ask, the person that is being targeted. So I don't really have anything to say about it.
My last question, His Excellency, will be about the project of Mr. Ziv, and you answered already, but I would like to be more accurate. If this project is falling down, what will be the next step?
I'm not the project manager. He is the project manager. He knows where to go if this project fails.
Thank you very much, His Excellency.
You are most welcome.